Welcome to this segment on productivity pyramid. I want to talk about the commitments that you make during this process. Are they non-negotiable or unbreakable? We have to intentionally cultivate reasons and convictions for these commitments that are so strong that we don't question them. When it comes to your weight loss journey, do you know your reasons for making those commitments in the first place? This is part of the reason it's so easy for us to break them. That's why we keep on starting and stopping constantly. They're not rooted in value-connected reasons. There is no connection to what is important to us and to our why. Now, let us say that you have reasons and they are connected to your values. This doesn't mean you won't be tempted to break them. It doesn't mean it won't be hard to stay committed. It doesn't mean there isn't discomfort in this process when you have to say no. The path of least resistance, which is almost always the most desirable one for us to follow because it's far much more comfortable, will seem way better than doing the hard thing, showing up and keeping up your commitment. Because making a commitment and keeping it, we think that at some point it will no longer feel like a choice. It will just be something we do with no resistance at all. If you can set aside that notion and stop searching for the one thing for it to somehow feel easy, maybe you will be able to critically think about it and construct a set of reasons with depth and connection that will help you connect to what you want most and will support you in keeping your commitments. As you start to think through this, I want to remind you to start small. Saying I am going to make losing weight non-negotiable is way too big to have any hope of making it happen. We have to break it up and get clear about our reasons for each part of our weight loss. So what goes into losing your weight loss for you? What have you tried before that worked and didn't work? What are the things you want to be doing and practicing in order to see the scale go down? Which of those include some stumbling blocks or feel hard to remain committed to? If you have a nice deep well of reasons that you love that are connected to what is most important to you, it will certainly be easier. You want to feel good about your decisions, even if it is still uncomfortable to make them. Making each piece of your weight loss process non-negotiable and unbreakable requires some front-end work. And the understanding that non-negotiable doesn't mean that you won't want to negotiate. It simply means you won't allow negotiations. And that brings us to our productivity pyramid. One of the first things I need us to do in this session is to make sure that the first thing, rather than working from up here where most people start by buying a gym contract, hiring a trainer, starting a new eating plan, waking up in the morning and going for a jogging practice. I need us to stop thinking about what we need to do and focus more on why do we want to achieve these goals. And that brings us here to our values. The first thing that I need you to do is, I need you to sit down and come up with at least 5 values. I will share with you some of my values here so it makes it easier for you to pick up from here and create one. My number 1 value in life is awareness. Awareness is a very important value because I have to be aware of what I'm looking at. I have to be very aware of what I'm listening to. I have to be very aware of what I'm putting into my mouth. I have to be very aware of what is coming out of my mouth. I have to be very aware of what I'm doing with my hands. I have to be very aware where my feet are taking me. I have to be very aware what I put in my head. I have to be very aware what am I feeding my mind with. Now, if you are aware, it becomes impossible for you to balloon to 10, 20 kilos overweight because awareness means that the minute my weight goes up by 2 kilos, the minute my body fat percentage goes up by 3%, my awareness already tells me something is already off. So awareness is a very big one for me. The second one here is accountability. What accountability means for me here is not punishment. Accountability here for me stands for extreme ownership. I have to take full responsibility for what I think, for my actions, and my outcome. Every single thing I do, accountability plays a very big part of it. What I think, the actions I take, and the outcome. I'm not going to blame anybody in my life for anything that happens to me. I blame nobody for irrespective of how bad things are. Why? Because the minute I blame other people, I become a victim. It means the other person has to take an action for my life to change. And if that becomes the case, then automatically there is nothing you're going to be able to do. The third one here is self-respect. Do you respect yourself enough? How often and how common, as most of us, a boss will ask you to get to work at 6 a.m. in the morning, 7 days straight, and you won't even blink an eye, and you're there 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the dot. A boss will ask you to go get photocopies or go out and get them a specific coffee from Starbucks every day at 9:15 or 9:13. And on the dot, every day at 9:13 a.m., you've got Starbucks coffee right there on his desk. But how comes you can never make time to do the things that you need to do to improve your life and make you a better person? I mean, it brings us to a very simple answer. You have no respect for self. The other value here is love. And when I talk about love, I'm not talking about love as a noun. I'm talking love as a verb. I have a family. I have a wife and I have kids. Now, I love them. And for me to show them that I love them, I have to hang on to this dear life as long as possible. I have to be in their life as long as possible. And the only way I'm going to be able to extend my life and make sure that I'm there as long as possible is to take care of my life. God has given me a life. What I do with it, how long I live, is entirely dependent on how I treat my life. It's not God that decides when you're going to die. It's you that decides when you're going to die. I know such a clever people, so many brilliant people, so many brilliant minds that had their life cut short because of diabetes, because of high blood pressure, because of cirrhosis of the liver from drinking too much. There, it's for you to be able to do that. And of course, number 5 here is self-care. Self-care has to be a value. Self-care has to be a value. We should not mistake selfishness with selflessness. You have to be selfish to carve a time aside for you so that you can be selfless with others. And this is very common with women. Now, write up what are your 5 main values in your life? And those values automatically determines what your priorities are. Because these are my values, they determine my priority. My priority determines how I spend my day in terms of time. How I spend my time, if I'm very intentional with my time, I'll apply the tasks that I need to make it easier for me to live my value on my time. And what comes under task? Under task, I'll get exercise. I have to exercise. For me, I exercise in the gym 5 days a week. And the rest of the time, I'm out in nature with my animals. Number 2 is nutrition. I have to set time aside for me to eat the right food because I need to fuel my body. To live my values, to be all this, I cannot do this when I'm tired. If I haven't eaten right and my energy is surging up and down consistently, the first thing that I'm going to go for is sugar. The first thing that I'm going to go for is caffeinated drinks. The first thing that I'm going to go for is energy drinks. My awareness and my sense of accountability and self-respect does not allow me to leave the house and leave my nutrition to chance. I always plan what I'm going to eat. I cook my meals for every 3 days, and my meals are constantly pre-packed. When I'm hungry, all I have to do is open the fridge or open my cooler box, and I've got my meal ready. Number 3 here is rest. I need to rest. You will find this, the minute you get 50 plus, you have to at least rest 20 to 30 minutes during the day. Your body gets tired. And when your body gets tired and you need to close your eyes, you're not wasting time. You are buying more time by resting. Your mind is focused. You can be able to do more because you have more energies. By me resting always during the day, it gives me 2 mornings every day. So my energy is constantly up. Now this becomes how it works for me. Now I need you to change this, and rather than starting with which gym you're going to work from, which personal trainer, it doesn't matter how great the personal trainer is, what outfit you're going to wear. Let's start from bottom up rather than up from down. I hope this helps. If you find this useful, always remember, Dream Body Fitness does not believe in changing your body from outside in. We focus more from inside out. Don't focus on the how, we focus more on the why. If this makes sense, remember, as I've always asked you, make sure that you share it with your friends. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel, like it, and share it with at least 5 of your friends so that you can spread the message of a gift of health. See you in the next chapter.